And I ain't hit no drop in a minute. No, I'm about my business.
Rappers Got Podcast, episode 33.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 33.
That's a weird
33.
number. This is your host, Diggy Bailz.
Bailz Pagliacci.
And today we wanted to talk about cover art.
Yep, cover art.
Importance that you hold on cover art.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm
going to answer for both of us. I think that both of us have fucking lacked in cover art for a long fucking time. And I think that anything that we say besides that would be a blatant lie.
Yeah, it definitely would be because I don't really put too much mind to it. And I don't try to really outsource to get people to do it for me. It's just like, let me go on canva.com and just see what I could just come up with real quick and just throw my logo on it, throw out a parental advisory. And then, that's it.
I feel like we come from an era where cover art was only applying to your album.
Yeah, exactly.
You put out a song, there was no real platform to even put out songs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there was no cover art for a single. The cover art for the single would just be the album's cover art.
And then even when you think about it, like back then we was downloading music illegally. So when we put it on our iPods, there was no cover art anyway. No cover, we had to upload it ourselves.
Right. Like kids right now are growing up in a whole generation of like cover art being super important.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you see the kids getting super deep into the cover and like them holding that shit really high. And I think that people our age need to kind of like follow suit.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that the mistake we make is thinking that it's just as important as it was back in the day, which is not important at all.
Yeah.
I always had a lot of emphasis put on the covers that I put for like a mixtape or like an album.
Yeah.
I always put a lot of emphasis into the covers for that. And I always wanted to have really good covers for that shit.
Because it's a body of work.
Right. But like being an artist who drops as many singles as I do,
mm-hmm.
I've never really put stock into the covers as much. And I know that that's a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like when you think about it, your cover art usually, Spotify now has the I forgot what they called it. It's not Canva. They have the thing where basically you get like you could put like a
canvases.
Canvases, there we go. Yeah. So they have the 7 seconds that you could put on, the videos for when somebody's listening to your song. But for the most part, a lot of people don't tend to use it. You should definitely use it though, but a lot of people don't tend to use it. But
see, and now that's important.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they're adding every couple of years, they're gonna add more shit that's important, and it's like with the canvases, people, big name artists had access to it at first.
Yeah,
and they were the ones that were like the beta testers, and they could use it first. Now everyone has access to it, and now that's another thing that you have to find important.
Exactly.
But it sucks because there's so many things that you already have to find important. And now you're just adding stuff on top of that.
Because when you think about it, most of us, we get, when we see a video, it instantly grabs our attention, right? So that's why I feel like the Canvas thing started to come out, because it's like, you know what, now that I'm listening to this song and now I'm looking at my phone, I actually see something that's moving. So it keeps me a little bit more engaged.
Yeah, but here's my question. Like, how many times do you play music on your phone and just stare at the screen?
I'm a little weird, so it's been a few times I've been captivated by those little 7 seconds. And I probably watched like 3 or 4 times, nothing longer than that.
But this is what I'm saying. Like a lot of the time when I play music, Spotify just pops up in my car on Bluetooth. So I just put it on and I drive. If I'm at the gym, my phone's in my pocket. So it's like, as important as it is, how important is it? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I feel like what's more important is just knowing that like you have to have a visual element.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But like all the new shit that they're adding, it's like, yeah, there's an importance to it, but why? Like there's so much fucking shit that I feel like you have to already focus on. Like, yo, we want to focus on the music, want to focus on the production value of it. We want to focus on the length of it now, right? We want to focus on the video for it. We want to focus on this. And then you also have to focus on the cover. Yeah. You also have to focus on the canvas. And you have to, there's so much shit you have to focus on.
The advertisement for the video, everything.
And here's my thing. If you're an artist who drops once a month, or you're an artist who drops one project every year, then it's like, yeah, it becomes a lot easier. If you're an artist, like I already talked to a visual, like a graphic designer about sitting with her and actually doing all my my canvases. I have 70-something songs.
Yeah, that's too much.
You know what I mean?
That's
like,
very costly.
And like how much, yeah, exactly. How much
Very
are you
costly.
charging per? And how long? Because it's only 7 seconds, but still, I want it to be like appealing. So it's like, I would pay for it, but when you have 70 something records, it becomes a way bigger expense. If you have 3 records, it's a lot easier to manage.
And that's why I think, like, you know, in the grand scheme of things, you don't see, for the most part, every single song have a canvas to it. It's mostly just like, you'll see probably, like, I think even for me, like, I probably got like 10 canvases. Whatever music video I shot, there's a canvas for it. If I didn't shoot a music video for it, there's no real need for the canvas because it's like, I got to go out
Well,
of
there
my
is
way
a
to make
need.
one.
It's just
Yeah.
that you haven't done it.
Yeah. Well, the need then becomes the cover art, which then that's where it becomes a
No,
little bit
but
more
what I'm
important.
saying is, even if you don't have a video for a song, you should still have a canvas for it.
Yeah, they do say that because it increases engagement somehow,
Right.
some way.
Right. Like you should, but when it's not as simple as just take a clip from my video and put it, then it's like, all right, well, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what am I gonna do for
You know,
this?
I kind of do take back my statement because it is pretty. I don't want to say it's fully simple, but it is because I mean we all have access to our smartphones. So smartphones, what is that? Our smartphones. So like we can literally just go outside and just have somebody record something for us real quick, as far as like doing something interesting to put as a canvas. But once again, if you don't feel like you want to go through that step, then that's when you got to put real importance in figuring out your cover art. Because once again, like I said, like for me, I try to do like the most simplistic way and try to cut down my costs for other things outside that I don't really feel like I need to pay for. So, you know, when I do go to Canva, I try to make sure that my cover art, it plays within the theme of the song. I know that some people may, you know, have a cover art already done, but for me, it's like I make my song, then I go look for my cover art picture, and then I try to like play off the theme or the schematics, whatever, for that specific song. So, you know, and I definitely think it's beneficial just because it's another thing that ties into the story. So like your cover art, the song is the song, but then your cover art kind of ties into that story. Yeah, you could go abstract and kind of do random things, but for the most part, I like to make everything cohesive together.
I also think it depends on the consumer that's consuming your song,
Also true.
right? Like some people probably put a lot of importance into the visual aspect, and some people don't.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it is necessary to have dope cover art. It is necessary to like really like make sure your brand is strong, and you know, like, because there's certain people that every time that they put out a single or a project, their covers look like art.
Hmm.
And I respect that shit. But I'm just questioning the sustainability of it if you're doing it on a consistent, like a rapid basis.
Yeah, because you know we're in the age of constantly releasing singles, and once again, that becomes very expensive if you're hiring somebody each time you're dropping a song, and it's just like, you know, it depends on who you work with. But if you want some like really, really good cover art, it's gonna cost you. It's always gonna cost you when it's like really good work.
Yeah, and if you want the right work done, then yeah, you
You
got to
gotta pay
pay
for
for
it.
it. But again, how often are you putting out records? And I would love to ask someone, if you're putting out records on a weekly basis, is the cover art as important? Because like at what point does it kind of lose its steam? At what point does it lose the shock value? Some people, they put out really dope covers and they put out an album once every 2 years, like a Kendrick,
Hmm.
and you're like, okay, it's important because it's brand new and he doesn't put out shit often. But if you're putting out shit often, there's no way people are gonna like every single cover on 70 records.
Yeah, they may just tend to just ignore them or not even pay attention to it after a certain point because once again, the music is usually the most important portion of it. And once again, it always depends on the consumer and like what they're into. Cause like for me, I like a good cover art. You know, like so take for example, Donda and CLB just came out, right? Donda is just literally just a there's nothing there but just a black square. Then you see CLB when it has like I think it was like what 9 or like 12 baby mothers holding their stomach. And they both kind of I was about to say they both kind of play into what the artist does. The black square for Kanye West makes sense. The whole thing with the 12 baby mothers on the thing, I get it for Certified Lover Boy, but it's like I don't think that fully fits kind of like what Drake kind of embodies or
Let's be
anything.
real; those covers are both trash.
Yeah, they are
And
trash, but they
these
get
are
away
the
with
two
it.
trailblazers of music, and both their covers were trash. So like we're having these conversations about the importance of cover art, and the two like top guys in hip hop just put out fucking horrible covers.
Yeah, but at that point, because they got the steam, so they're
Yeah,
allowed
but
to do
here's the
so.
thing, yo. Like when you're that guy, now a whole culture of people is gonna follow
Follow
suit.
suit. Yep.
And I think that as those guys, you have to know that. Like you have to know, like, yo, people are expecting a certain thing from me,
Hmm.
right? No one wanted a black square for Donda.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I thought because they,
I thought
you
it was a
know,
fucking mistake.
they fake released it.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, okay, they're gonna update it eventually. Yeah, that shit's still black,
Yeah.
and it's about a weekend too.
No, he's not. I don't think he's changing that. And Drake, like, I don't know what the fuck he was thinking.
Once again, I think it was more so like marketability because I see the 12 baby mothers and all the colors, and then you see everybody reposting different things that kind of look similar to that but different. Like I even seen one where it had like Maury and a whole bunch of different sweaters, and he was like, "You're the father." And I was like, "All right, I can see why this starts becoming a little playful thing."
It's just not dope. It's just no one. I'm talking completely objectively. That shit is just not dope.
I think some people like it, man.
There's no one that's sitting at home and going, "That's a really good
I
cover
was like,
art."
I wanted this for me. I can't believe I didn't think of
Emojis.
this.
That's a good cover art. No one's doing that. Like you can't. There's no way someone's sitting at home. And apparently, he got like a really important artist to do that.
Yeah, art is so it's
Yeah, but here's the
weird.
trash shit, bro. These new artists, like the Virgil Ablohs, who just write something on a shoe
Yeah.
and it becomes
Make
art. Like,
something.
yo, it's like, when are you gonna actually hold that to like a standard? Like, when are you gonna actually set a standard for what's good art and what's not? I understand it's all subjective, but like, there is objectively bad shit and there is objectively good shit when it comes to like visuals.
Mhm.
Like, if you walk into a gallery and some artist took fucking paint and they just splattered it all over, yeah, you could be like, no, I get what they did. It's beautiful. And there's probably someone who could give you a whole explanation as
Mhm.
to like what
What it
it
was.
means
Mhm.
and all this shit, right? But like, if you're a fucking normal person and you have a regular processing brain, you're gonna be like, dog, he splattered fucking paint on a canvas.
But I think that's where it comes to
Like, let's
the
cut it the fuck out. Like all this deep artistic shit. Like, nah, dude, there's some shit that is just trash.
but that's where it comes where like we as a people place value into it. Or like we will make up whatever it is.
But that's why people are buying black Gucci shirts that just say Gucci on the inside tag.
Yeah, that's
You
wild.
feel what I'm saying?
I could
Like,
get a Hanes one for like $5.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, the people do set the value and they do set the market for it. But like, sometimes the people are wrong.
Mhm.
You can't make an argument for why. Like, all right, cool, yo, the stitching on a Gucci shirt's probably better. The fabric is probably better.
Don't care about either of those things.
But like, was it $300 better versus
No.
paying $5? Probably not. And that's what I'm saying. Like, what I'm saying is like, we could be subjective, but like, also you have to acknowledge when something is just objectively garbage.
Yeah.
And I think that that's how you set a standard for anything. I mean, in music, we know when something is objectively trash. If someone's off beat on the whole record, the beat sounds like it's from fucking 2003. Like, you could be like, yo, this is just a bad song.
Yeah.
Like, there's someone out there who's gonna be like, nah, yo, I fuck with that
Yeah,
beat.
that's just fire. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
cool. But like, the majority is gonna listen to that shit and be like, nah, this is a bad song.
Mhm.
There's objectively bad songs. Ice JJ Fish. No one ever sat there and like actually enjoyed his record without like laughing and making fun of it.
I'm hearing him screech in my head as soon as you mention his
You
name.
feel what I'm
That's
saying though?
crazy.
Like 50 Tyson. People did not listen to his music and be like, yo, he goes off.
50 Tyson going north right now.
Like, you know, like, so we could always state that shit is subjective, and it is. But like, there's objectively bad things.
What I will say though is like as far as like the terms of cover art goes, right? I feel like even though there are people that really go the simplistic route, I feel like there has also been a case where like once again, there's like some really true art that's going on with it. Now take for example when Pusha T came out with well, I forgot what album it was. Daytona, right?
Daytona.
Bro, I'm not paying however much money they pay just to get a picture of Whitney Houston's bathroom when she was like overdosing on drugs.
Yeah, but
because-
here's the thing. You would if you had the money for it. And you would if that was what you really wanted to use in your heart.
for that much money, I
It's
don't
a
know, man.
legitimate picture that was taken one of one. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's what's different about it. Like, that's an actual art piece.
I don't know. I feel like it just
That's bro, people pay for their prints. Like, if people take like photographers,
Mhm.
they'll charge people for their prints of their pictures.
You know what? I'm probably just looking at it from a point of a person that's just like I wouldn't pay that much money for some shit
Right.
like
And
that.
that's fine.
where
That's
yeah.
fine. But also, like, Pusha's whole
About
catalog is about cocaine.
Yeah, so okay.
It makes total sense.
It fits within the brand of who
But it's
he is as a
also just
person.
one of those like rich people flexes. Like, I own
Yeah.
this picture now.
Yeah, just like
I own this art. It's the same shit.
Drake putting on billboards all around the fucking every city saying,
See,
you know,
but yo, this is my thing. That shit was so cold and such a dope marketing plan and such a good rollout. And then for you to turn around and put out a project that the cover art is a bunch of pregnant emojis. It just isn't fitting. Like, yo, did you see those billboards? How like nicely
yeah, they were
printed
just
they
black
were?
and
Like
it was the gold. It looked
fresh.
beautiful. It looked
It looked
beautiful.
very nice. To then turn around and put out a cover that has just a bunch of pregnant emojis. Like, nah, it's not like you can't convince me that that's good.
I mean, at the same time though, right? You could look at it like this. Before, like when all the covers in before in the past, it was usually just rappers like with their face and just probably some, you know, some stuff behind it. I feel like now in today's like market, as far as like cover arts go, people are getting a little bit more experimental. Like I personally, you won't literally see any, like you won't see my face on any of my cover arts because for me, it's just like, I feel like it's a little bit weird. Probably like if I made only one album was where I actually have my face on. Everything else is just kind of like abstract. It doesn't really show who I am or, you know, doesn't show my face. So I feel like it's definitely geared towards being a little bit more abstract and artistic. Like I love how Baby Keem does it when he has like those I don't know, like a color palette when it's like blue and then there's like the beige one. It's like
No, it's dope.
that's fire.
It's really dope.
That's beautiful.
It's really dope. Like it's
Simple, but
the thing about like the color black
Mhm.
is that like Baby Keem shit actually is visually stimulating, where black is just not.
It's like I'm looking into a black abyss.
It's there's nothing, and I get it if that's the theme, and you're like, this is how my fucking heart felt. This
Mhm.
is how, you know what I mean? Like I get it, but I just feel like, yo, especially for a project that's like a tribute to your mother,
Mhm.
just an odd choice. It's just a really odd choice for cover.
I can see some grief in there with the black.
That's you reaching. That's you trying to have an
Yeah.
explanation for something being just straight black. And that's what he's kind of going for,
Yeah, I
probably.
mean, yeah,
he's
that's
probably going
what
for like leave it up to their interpretation. But like, nah, give me something. Give me something that I could like look at and be like, okay, I understand what's going on here. There's so many dope ways to like speak what you're trying to speak with colors, or speak what you're trying to speak with visuals. Like
Mhm.
there's so many ways to stimulate the brain, and like there's so many clever and witty ways to go about like making a cover.
Mhm.
My first project when I was 18, my first studio, it was a mixtape at the time, but that's because it was in like the mixtape
Yeah,
era. But it was
everybody
really
was
an
doing
album.
mixtapes, yeah.
It was really an album, and it was called Beaches in the Winter. The graphic was like it was like a cartoon. It wasn't really a cartoon. If it was a cartoon, it was like one of those realistic cartoons.
Mhm.
But it was me, uh, literally overlooking a body of water
Mhm.
in the sand. I had a track on there called Frozen Coronas. There's a Corona bottle on the sand, beach ball. Like,
Mhm.
there's so much shit that you could be like, if you listen to the project and you're staring at this cover, you could be
It
like,
ties in.
makes so much fucking sense,
Yeah,
right?
everything ties in, which is
Like,
beautiful.
You should do that.
That's some thought. You put
You
real
should
thought
have
behind it.
something. You know what I mean? You should have something. I had that Pink album, Morning After Rainfall,
Mhm.
right? First off, the title, Morning After Rainfall, spelt morning as in death,
Mhm.
after rainfall as in your rain at the top,
It was
right?
in pink.
It was,
You-
but deeper than that. I'm working at a record shop at the time.
Mhm.
There's this group, this like punk band from back in the day called Black Flag.
Mhm.
And Black Flag has these covers that have the same font that I used on that cover. They have their whole makeup is literally like name of them up top in big font, the name of their album right here on this block,
Mhm.
a picture right here, like a rectangular picture. And if someone was to look at my cover and they were already a Black Flag fan, they could easily put two and two
But,
together. Like this
I
is
see where this came from. I've seen this before. So
yeah, like I know exactly what this is.
Mhm.
That's why I did that. There's always a thought process behind the covers of my project. Technical difficulties.
Dig's fault.
My fault, finally.
Finally.
Finally, it is my fault.
Thank God.
Funny enough, it comes the episode after we literally were saying, like, if it's an audio problem, it's my fault. If it's a video problem, it's Bailz's fault. Finally, it has landed upon me. It was my fault.
Yes, yes, yes.
Where we were at when we left off was me putting a lot of emphasis into the album covers, and when it comes to singles, not putting as much emphasis. And I almost feel like I create the music the same way. Like I don't put as much emphasis into a single as I put into a project.
Yeah.
And that might be an issue. All the issues might actually correlate. You know what I'm saying? Like me not putting as much stock into a single as I do into an album might correlate with me not putting as much stock into the cover art for a single as I do with an album. Maybe you should put more emphasis into everything.
I can see that, but at the same time, when we do make the singles, it's like we're not trying to really tie in. So like when I do an album, when I did PDF 1 and PDF 2, I literally sat there, after I wrote
Right. It's
all the songs, it's
cohesion.
like I got to make sure
right.
this goes into this. Does this sound good when it hits that? When it's just a single, it's just like you can really take the single seriously, but it's not followed up by anything, and it's nothing that goes before it technically. So it's just like I don't want to call it a throwaway, but it's kind of like in a sense like a throwaway in my mind. So it's just like if I don't really pay too much attention, like for like the cover art for Ben Broke, it was like it was like a piggy bank, and it's like it was smashed. It was like money all over the place. So it was like in my head, it was like, all right, this fits right in where it needs to be, and it was just like I don't really need to put too much mind into it because like there's nothing before it or after it. Now, if I was doing a whole album based off of like financial literacy some way somehow, then that's probably when it would probably go on the tie in a little bit more, and I could probably use that simple cover art for the whole entire project. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think you should look at it that way.
You know who puts a lot of stock into the single covers that I do? When I work on a track with a producer, they usually put more stock into the cover. And that's because they don't have as many songs.
Mm-hmm.
They're not dropping as often as I am. So like when we work on a record together, like they are like very, very particular about what the cover looks like.
And you know what's crazy? Sometimes I used to feel like I remember when Joshua Rare was here, and he was talking about his cover art, and I was like, "Yo, just go on Canva and just like, come up with some shit." He's like, "Nah, I really want to put some real thought into the cover." And in my mind, it was just like, in a sense, like, why? Like, because I'm just do something simple, and for him, it was like, "Yo, I really want to have like a great looking cover," and it was like, I didn't really understand it, but now when you factor in that people say you should pay real great attention to your cover art because if a person's not seeing you and they're listening to your song, that's the only thing they can really see. And then you want that to grab their attention to like really want to stay within the song. So it's like seeing other artists like put a little bit more emphasis on it makes me want to like, rethink my stuff. Like, maybe it's not as simple as I'm thinking it is.
Well, see, the one thing that I'll always admit is like I know that everything I do is not correct. And I know that in order for me to get to the further steps,
Mm-hmm.
I have to correct the problems that I have with my own artistry.
Yeah.
And I've always known that. So like videos, that was always a big problem for me. I never wanted to make videos.
What to do with my hands?
And I know that like I need videos if that's what I was trying to pursue.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Cover art. Like I know deep down that like a doper cover art is more beneficial for the record.
Mm-hmm.
But it was never one of those things that I put so much stock into.
Important to.
And that might be incorrect. Like that might be the wrong way to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think that part of being a musician is like figuring it out on the fly for a lot of us, right? And also like not thinking that everything you do is the right shit to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're making a mistake and you have to correct it. And a lot of the time how you'll realize that is by looking at where you're at, asking yourself, is this where I want to be at? Or do I want to be bigger than this? And what can I fix to get me there?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you have to look at yourself because you could blame everyone else in the world all you want, but like every issue for your own music not going somewhere is you.
Come from within, always.
It's all within.
You got to have the accountability when it comes to that. You have to.
So with that being said, if you're not focusing on your covers, because there is a lot of bad covers. A lot.
I definitely got one for slip and fall. Somebody said like life alert because I had like a little stick figure slipping like a little piece of water.
There's bad covers out there. And I think that like that also comes from like I would never call myself a graphic designer.
Yeah, me either.
I know how to work around Photoshop and I know how to do all these things, but like I'm never gonna look at someone and be like, you want me to make you cover art?
Yeah, I
like,
can do your job, no problem.
Right. No.
Easy.
No. There are graphic designers I really, really respect and I respect all graphic designers, but like I know some personally that I really respect and like they're worth every penny.
To like really being in there, like the Photoshop and everything, and like really get into the nitty gritty and like the littlest details.
It's just the details. It's like
I'm not beat.
like, bro, they know how to make these textures and like
Mhm.
shit that like makes the cover actually look like it's tangible, like it's something that you could reach into the screen and feel.
Mhm.
Shit like that intrigues the fuck out of me. And I try to do that with my own records. Like if you zoom in on my covers, a lot of the time there are textures to them,
Mhm.
right? But there are some people that are really, really good at that. And I'm very novice when it comes to that.
And that's their craft. So, they should, know how to do it. And that's why, for the most part, we should be reaching out to them, trying to figure out, hey, I'm working on something, I've seen some of your work. Is there any way possible do you have any availability? This is what I'm thinking of. Can we like go on FaceTime, even if it's a person across the world? Can we just like really go through the details of like what I want this cover to be and how much will it cost me?
You could also go on Fiverr.
Oh yeah, definitely Fiverr. Yeah.
Fiverr is a great place to find a graphic designer. You know what I mean? And you could look up rates, you could look up their ratings. You could look up literally everything and find the exact designer that you want. They have examples of their work. So whatever style you were looking for, if it's a cartoon figure of yourself,
Mhm.
you could see all the cartoons that they did and say, "Yo, this guy's lit with this. I'm gonna go to him
And within
or
like,
girl.
and
Just want to be inclusive."
and within like having the cover art or like finding a budget for it as well too, because like if you looking at your budget as like how much you want to put into a single or how many singles you're releasing or a full album, how much money are you willing to put towards the cover art and how much money and, like depending on how much money you put in the cover art, what is that taken away from? Is that taken from like advertisement? Is that taken away from music video? At a certain point, you really have to figure out what's more important to you or what, as an artist is more distinguishable to you. Cause like for me, once again, I'm not really the cover art guy. I'd rather do a music video or like try to figure out a way to get the music video. So I might not put too much investment into that. But like a person like you who doesn't like to do the music videos, you may want to put more investment in the cover art that's going to draw people in through that way. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you really understand how you want to be represented and how that looks within your budget. Cause I think that's something we always overlook when we paying for things. What is more important to you at that specific point?
And also, like, when it comes to paying for cover arts, just for the person out there who like has never paid for a cover art, doesn't know where to get cover arts, going rate for a cover from a good like graphic designer could be anywhere from like 50 to $100.
Yeah.
That's like a price that I would pay if I was doing an album and I wanted it done exactly how. Like, and there's probably a graphic designer out there right now that's going, "What the fuck are you talking? That's way too cheap."
50 to 100.
But 50
Three.
to 100, you could probably find someone that could do really good work for 50 to $100. So just as a reference, if there's a kid out there who's like, how much would that even cost me? Because
Mhm.
like, yo, you don't have to have the greatest cover of all time. It doesn't have to be like the most legendary cover, especially if you have no fan base and there's no one looking at
And if
it.
you're not getting it professionally mixed and you're just going putting the money in the cover, it's
Right.
like, yo,
Right. But like if you have everything else together, you have videos for the project, you have all these things lined up, then 50 to $100 will get you a solid cover for your project.
let me ask you, is there a specific cover that you could think of, not even if it doesn't have to be yours, that just pops up in your mind? Like one that is just like, yo, this some fire shit right here.
All of Kanye's covers, and that's why it bothers me that
He
he
came out with a black
has a
screen.
black cover. Because like think about like all his covers with the bear on them, like College
That was
Dropout, Late
definitely a whole
Registration.
theme.
Like it was a
Yep.
whole theme, bro.
Mhm.
There was so much detail, and it was so intricate, and it played into the theme of everything so well that that's why it bothers me. And all his covers as of recent have been fucking trash. Jesus is King was trash. I don't care who designed it.
I don't even know what the fuck it even looked
And
like.
that's what I'm saying.
Uh,
It was a blue cover with just Jesus is King
Life of
stamped on it.
Pablo was a little bit abstract and a little all over the place.
Life of Pablo was at least
It was
cool.
like, yeah, it was like it was different.
It was cool. But his covers for a while now have been
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fair. But yeah, I definitely think the play with the bear was definitely something that's
Even think about Yeezus. Like he always had something. It was just the CD with the red,
okay. For a second, I couldn't even see it, but now I can picture it in my head.
you know? Like, yo, there are artists out there who put so much stock into their covers and it becomes one of the things that you look forward to with them.
Yeah, I don't know if for some reason that 50 Cent the Massacre, that's always been like the most.
It's such a bad
That
cover.
I thought that shit was fire.
With him with his shirt off and like the paint, like that's
What
like
the outline? I thought you like made him like a cartoon character. It also made I was into Dragon Ball Z.
trash. That shit-
I like Broly. He looked
Get
like
Rich or
Broly to
Die
me.
Trying was hard.
Yeah, no, that
with the
definitely was fire
gunshot
too.
in the
Yeah.
glass,
Mhm.
like that.
That was
Because
definitely fire
especially
as
because
well.
of his story, you
Yeah.
know.
Like once again, it ties in.
Right, it just
Everything fits
made
in
so
together.
much sense. Now I'm thinking about it, man. I don't think a lot of people are putting stock into their covers nowadays.
No, I don't. Like I said, I truly don't think so. But once again, it's like if you're only listening to the music and you have a cover art, I feel like I really don't see how much of it plays a role. But I have heard people who are within the music industry say it is important. I'm still iffy on it. You know what I'm saying? That's
I
up for
think
y'all to
it's
decide.
important for the people, like the tastemakers in this industry.
Hmm.
I think that, like, when they're sifting through thousands of songs, I think that if you have an appealing cover art, it'll make them click it.
Hmm.
And I think that that's why it's so important. I think it's important because you have to realize that you're dropping into this sea of projects
Hmm.
or a sea of music, and
If you only got name and picture.
right, someone is going to be scrolling looking for new stuff to listen to, and if you have an appealing cover, they might click on it just because it caught their eye.
Hmm.
So you're giving yourself a better chance of someone listening. And sometimes people have dope ass covers and then you listen to the music and that shit is trash. Or not for me.
Nah, man, you definitely do come across that
You know what I'm
shit.
saying? Sometimes you click on a cover, you're like, this cover is dope as hell. This has to be hard. And then you listen, you're like,
Fuck is
never mind.
this?
I was wrong.
Let me get on up out of here. This ain't what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that definitely happens. So yeah, I would just say that to close out, I would say try to you should hold importance with every aspect of it.
Yes.
I would say if you want to get good at doing covers because you yourself can't afford to go and hire someone to do it, I think that's fine.
Perfectly fine.
I think that you should try to put some time into it, but don't put so much time that now you're like losing time with the original goal, which is to make good music.
Man, my song is good, but I just can't get this fucking cover art right. At that point, put that shit on. Go to Canva, make that shit yourself, and just ship it out and just see
And
what happens.
outsource.
Outsource. Yeah, outsource as well.
Anything else?
No, that's pretty much it.
All right, cool. Rappers Got Podcast, episode 33. We're signing out. This is Diggy Metro.
Bailz Pagliacci. Don't forget it was Dig Fault.
Peace out, guys. My fault.